Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Nemcast After Hours. I'm Dominic here with my co-host
Elliot. How are we, everyone? And today we've got a special guest, Mr.
Ryan Jackson, aka Raresoft.
Raresoft. Welcome on, Raresoft. Thank you very much for coming on. As always, we'll start with nice hat, bro.
Nice hat, bro.
Ben, where's hat?
No hat.
No
Cool.
hat.
Zero
Put
hat.
it down. Nemesis Tactical. If you're watching your own videos, get in their hat. Get this man a hat. Yeah, he gave 2 to Alphonse. He didn't give you one, did he? Naughty,
Maybe
naughty.
he thought, Alphonse and Ben, they look very similar. Same haircuts.
Same. Apart from
No,
Alphonse is ripped like a fucking tank. It's hench as fuck. Yes. Anyway, thank you for coming on, Ben. So today I just wanted to get a bit of a feel. We obviously been on the proper not podcast, the recordings with Courtney, but we'll bring on to After Hours just to find out, reiterate, maybe show the people who you are, who haven't seen you before. So tell us about yourself, single man from Manchester.
Coolio, I'm not single. If Maria hears this, she will kill me. So I'm not single. Yes.
Sorry, Maria. She is joking.
Yeah, she will chop you up. No joke. So yes, I am back in the Manchester area. I was very briefly had a bit of a dibble dabble in the greenery in Chesterfield and back into Manchester now. So yeah, there's quite a few local sites near me that I'm sure many people watching this will have been to. Big ones like I think it's level 2 CQB stuff. Obviously, and anything that's within an hour really is local for Airsoft. So I'm just going to name some shit that people have probably been to that's in the North region, which is
The North.
first and only
North.
sites. So you've got Anzio, there's the new one in Oldham, which is about 5 minutes away from the place I used to work, but I haven't been there. There is Chemical Airsoft in glorious Ashton-under-Lyne, where I used to live. That's been there quite a few times actually. That's very small, but it's quite fun. There's a couple of other places we went to, obviously, as a group. The Stan Tack House. That's not Tack House. It's a completely different thing. I'm confused because I don't go to many sites because that's what happens when you collect loads of shit. You do not simultaneously collect shit and play at the same time. So, yeah, you can tell. But no, we went to the Stan a couple of months ago, so I've been to a few bits and bobs. But yeah, I tend not to go to sites too far down south. I know, obviously, depending on if you've got time, which I haven't. I mean, my job at the moment, which I'm changing, requires me traveling up and down the country quite a lot, staying in different places. So I don't always have the time to fit airsoft days around my schedule anyway. But yeah, I mean, we've all been to the National Airsoft Festival together. We've done a few bits and bobs, but generally speaking, the furthest I'll go to play airsoft now is what's it called? It used to be Matlock Combat Games, MIA.
Yes.
Formerly,
MIA. Yes, now renamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's trying. We're getting there. It's Pete's now focal point. So
I need to come back down there one day. I've not been since the
me too.
relaunch.
I've not been either.
You should come, Marshall. Yeah, I'll just bully you all day. I'll just be like, bro, your gun's hot. Bro, your gun's hot. You're not taking it. Just Marshall bonk you, Elliot, all day.
And I'll
just
give it to court and go.
Yeah, so
make good.
No nozzles were drilled in the making of this video.
No, mate, we drill all your nozzles. We just zip, zip, get down there. Yeah, that's fine. Or just use a quick chain spring. Whatever.
Never heard of it.
No, never heard of quick chain spring. So, how did you get into what you do, Ben? Was this sort of I'm chasing after a unicorn gun, and then that spiraled on, or how did you become the company?
Ironically, the gun that kind of started the obsession with, just the umbrella term, and it is a very umbrella term, weird shit, is this one above my head, which is my Car 98K. Now, when did I buy this? Maybe 5-6 years ago. So I've been playing airsoft before that. I started airsoft maybe 10 years ago. First gun was, I'm going to say it, I'm going to say the A word, Aries. Yeah. An Aries Amoeba Honey Badger, which I bought used back in the glory days when you could buy guns off Facebook and all that cool stuff on the marketplace and this, that, and the other. Bought myself an Aries Honey Badger and I used that for half a day. First and only Anzio. Battery was running low, didn't have anything, just literally turned up, not having a clue what's going on. Got told a load of shit by my friends. which was just nonsense. But then you turn up, you play, and I asked someone there to charge the
Yep.
battery, and he said take it out. So I was like, okay, took the battery out. And said, there's something a bit wrong here. What do you mean? I said, well, it's not the right connection. It should be female instead of male, or vice versa. And it's like, well, that's the way it came. And it's like, well, there's nothing I can do. I don't have any adapters for this. And it's like, oh, right, okay. So I borrowed a friend's gun or a high gun, or something else like that again. And I spoke to the guy that I bought it off after the game and was like, explain the situation. So, how did you charge it? And he said, oh, just use crocodile clips. Right. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Not
Thank you.
sure. Yeah, not sure about that, but okay, I'm not going to do that. So I asked my good friend
Yeah.
Tom, who obviously you guys know, like, look, Tom, can you just do a bit of rewiring this, bit of electrical tape that? He sorted that out, ordered another
Mhm.
battery, literally couldn't be asked to measure the size of the battery, stuck a massive fat 11-1 in it. It was sticking out at the end of the stock, just slapped tape on it for a year, abused
Nice.
it. I bought one of those, like, anyone that's had an Ares Honey Badger, I'm not sure if it's for other guns. Ares offered like this little programmer box thing, like this big.
Oh yes, where you could change it. It's a little pet box.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's like 60 quid for a fucking thing that just changes
yeah,
two
basically.
settings.
So it
That's it.
allows you to change it basically from 3 round burst to full auto, and that's pretty much the only use that it has for the settings. But I bought
It's
that.
like a little MOSFET kind of thing.
That's basically what it is. Instead of actually buying a
Yeah.
MOSFET like you would now and actually adjusting that normally, they sold you this little green box thing as an
Hmm.
extra. But that didn't work because that one was broken on arrival. Cool. So yeah, I abused the shit out of that gun for a year, and I was looking for something different. And I found, God, there's been so many airsoft forums and sites and stuff over the years that I can't remember which one was which. But I saw this one behind me on a site, and I think it was about £650. And he said, "Oh, basically, it's a real stock. The scope's real. This, that, and the other." And I was like, "Okay, I've never spent this
Okay.
much money on airsoft
No,
before.
let's
Airsoft is a new
fuck with that.
hobby." Yeah. So, and I looked it up, and the scope alone sold for like 450, 500 quid on eBay, and I was like, wow, the power of youth. I'm going to do an irresponsible impulse buy. And that's exactly what I did. So I found myself with that gun and didn't really have any kit to run with it because I just had like some super cheap Flectarn, like
Hmm.
just crap that I bought from Gothos Military First or something else like that and just abused. And I was like, right, I'm going to get a German kit, put all that together. And it was at that point I discovered the Shui MP44 gas blowback, and then the escort guns that are in that, and then an Asahi MG34, Tanaka Luger, and I kind of started discovering brands that made past tense some of these things, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole, started speaking to other people, and the first one that I actually bought, so I didn't get the Shui for years after until this point. But the first gun that I did buy, I think before the Shui, was an Asahi WA2000 because a very well-known collector called Wolf George, good guy. He was selling one. He's at about 4 or 5. He's got the only silver one in the world, and he was selling that on. And I thought, cool, I'm going to buy this, and I bought it. I think I had it for 18 months. All it did was sit on the shelf and come to certain places just as a display piece. But it
Hmm.
was picking it up and you can feel like the stifling quality on the wood. Bear in mind, this thing's 30 years old. The construction quality. I was very surprised to actually see for myself, how is this like blowing out of the water pretty much everything that I've held so far? And that was kind of the thing that made me go, all right, cool. I want some of the old shit that's high quality. And then again, I've got some more behind me. There's an Asahi Bushmaster there. There's got a couple of Sheriff guns, which are actually, if you can get them running within UK limits, because they were from a time where Japan didn't have its limits. They were just went, yeah, more power, good, more power, more range. Yeah, we don't have
More.
firearms and sorts of yeah. So, so that's what they did. So yeah, they require a little bit of adjustment, but those are cool. So that's kind of how I started doing that. And then in between, there was kind of a lot of, I call them kind of like fillers, where they're still made. The companies that make them are still in business. No one can be asked importing them. So that's like the Marushin Cop 357s, the little handbag pocket quad barreled pistols, and obviously all that kind of stuff. There's, you know,
A bit
TM
quirky.
Spaz 12s with the stocks and all that kind of stuff. Marushin gas blowback auto mags, and recently, God knows how many I've got in now. Tanaka single action armor revolvers. No one can really be bothered stocking those. Don't know why. It's the best one on the market. No one can be bothered. So yeah, so now it's kind of a mix of using some of that, keeping some of that, and when I see stuff, I like to sell stuff. I like to keep stuff. A lot of the stuff I keep use for a little bit and then sell. So behind me here, there's something that you can't see, which is a little Escort MP5 that needs one grub screw in it fixing. Not at all anywhere near the top of my list, so that'll just sit there. Maybe I'll sell it one day, maybe I won't. Um, yeah, just I very rarely buy stuff. It's only the last 2 or 3 months that I've actually started getting kit that people would consider, okay, yeah, it's modern. There's this magical thing called aftermarket support that still exists.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
before that it was just, oh, it's broke. Oh,
That
that's a
sucks. It's a
shame,
nice
bro.
wall hanger,
That's a
bro.
real
Yeah.
shame. That's a nice wall hanger. Or you can just get like a file and a saw out and just a vise and cut something out of metal, or do something else, or 3D print something. So yeah, I've just got one of the bomber CNC kits, like as to convert the TM high capper into like a tiki style pistol, which when I get the high capper, which I don't have yet, will be after 10 years, the very first brand new TM product I've ever bought.
Oh, nice, nice. Well, I'm sure you'll be disappointed
I don't
instantly.
actually think I've ever seen you hold anything modern. I think every time I've seen you, it's been something old.
Some obscurity
Uh,
out of somewhere.
Even on a normal game day, I think it's always been something old HPA'd.
yeah, because up until I sold it, which I really wish I didn't, I'll get another one. Up until I sold it, I used to use the Shui, all the Car 98K behind me for 90% of my games, other than the one MG42 game, the forbidden
The forbidden,
MG42,
yes.
the
Well,
forbidden airsoft gun, which is yeah, a whole other rabbit hole, and I won't make too
mm,
many comments on that because of things.
things. But
But
we have got some footage of it running, used by a very
yes,
special person. So yeah, that does exist in the bank. We could bring that in sometime. But it's a very very cool piece. That's an envy piece. I was like, this shit is fucking. I want to give it to me.
I've never been more
yeah,
scared in my life.
well
It's
that's
a
yeah, that was literally the last piece that completed. Obviously, when I bought that Car 98 and I learned, okay, what's the best version of this, and this can buy. I had all of them, not necessarily the best, but the ones that was like, okay, this is the most elusive. Maybe this is the best build quality. So like Red Wolf, Airsoft made a few MG34s. You know, this or that. I wanted the Snahi one. Never was going to skirmish it. Just wanted it because it's cool. Um,
Do Red
so
Wolf
yeah, I think
actually make? Sorry, do Red Wolf actually make anything, or do they? Is it OEM by someone else?
it's
Or they?
OEM'd by some. Yeah, it's OEM'd by someone else. I can't remember who it is, but there's a lot of them that use exactly the same manufacturers. What's it called? EMG Vike Manufacturing Group. There's God knows. I mean, again, it's the MG42s. When I first was looking into those before I used an AGM, which if anyone's looking at buying an MG42 that's watching this video, do not buy an AGM for the love of God. And when I bought it, they were cheaper than they are now. They're at £450 new. Now I think they're at £600 or something crazy. They're just crap. They're a bag of shit. Don't do it. There's quite a funny photo floating around on a couple of different airsoft forums of an MG42 that you need a pill to fix. And what I mean by that is the barrel is pretty much like cockeyed like that, facing downwards, because
Beautiful.
it's made out of shit metal. Mine, the feed the feed tray hook on mine snapped about 35 minutes into my very first game with it, and that's after the lipo set on fire that had to be thrown into a bush. Now, I don't think that was the fault of the gun. I asked my friend to charge a battery. God knows what happened there. I just saw
Crocodile
smoke coming
clips
out.
on it gone.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
just saw smoke coming out, and that was gone into the bushes. but don't buy an AGM MG42. There's a reason that I bought the one that I did, which was a custom piece, very very heavy. Yeah, I mean, other than that, save up. I know people whinge about the G&G. You know me, I'm not a massive fan of AGs, but as far as AGs go, that is a very impressive piece of kit. It's a one-piece milled aluminium gearbox that you can just pull out of the back of the gun. It's got a quick change barrel system like the real
Is
one
this the G and
has.
G one? Sorry, because it cut out a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's the G&G one. It is a really high quality piece of kit. Um, and you can upgrade them relatively easily. There's been a few issues. People have whinged about snagging wires, but if that's it. I'd rather snag a wire and solder it than, oh, the critical part to attach a magazine to my gun has snapped off and I can't weld it because it's made of cast bird shit.
But
What am I
but but
going
the
to do?
wires are bad. Don't buy it. Yeah, yeah. If
Yeah,
airsofters will find a way to break anything, you make it foolproof. They'll fuck it up.
it'll just
Yeah.
fall
So,
on it. That's the thing. No matter what you do,
just
you've serviced your gun, you've give it all the full shebang upgrades, and you just fall over and just land on it.
I've
yeah.
seen more broken guns from people falling on them than I have anything else. It's
Well,
Yeah.
maybe,
funny
yeah,
every time, but
they'll say they're shit, but yeah, you fell on it. It's not going to take it. It's not going to take your weight. No, no.
Yeah.
I fell on one gun and it's still working. Luckily, touch wood. But
It was
yes.
it reminds me of something actually. I don't know if you guys used to watch Novrich like way, way, way before he launched any of his
Mm-hmm.
products, any of this, any of that, and obviously where he plays, you obviously the dual limit is very much different to what it is here. So if you're not too clued up in airsoft and you were watching his old videos at the time, you would think, well, this is it did look like 100-meter shots were quite easy. And given the power limits and what weight BBs you can use now, yeah, that's achievable. But it was very impressive. He was literally just using for the first few years an upgraded VSR until one day he fell on it and snapped it. And then he built a few things into it again, and obviously, starting launching his own products and this and that. But yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. There's not too many airsoft guns that if you fall over on them, you won't break it. But the G&G MG42 is probably one of the ones that you wouldn't. It's a pretty hefty bit of kit.
I haven't seen one.
So
But I'd have to get a game with one, Ben, if you've got one.
yeah. Well, I haven't got one because I like buying stuff that I find cheap. That I go, yeah, if I don't want it, I can sell it, or yeah, I'll use this. It's fun. G&G MG42s and cheap don't go together. Like they used to be, again, maybe 1100-1200 pounds in the UK, and now you're talking 1,400-1,500 pounds
See,
ish, and it's just
it just seems like any LMG style gun is just way higher priced. I really want like a PKM or an RPD. No, I'm looking over $1,000. And I can't understand why.
They never used to be. They used to be able to pick up 249s for a few £100, like an A&K one that was like the cheap, and then for some reason they became just unobtainium. And AK have brought out some more now, but I was looking at PKMs or there's 249. There's an M60s. They've got those back into production now, but they're well north of £600 a piece. It's just demand, and over here, I especially think in the UK, prices are taking the piss out of. I was looking at one retailer in particular. They are stocking MWS mags for £70 a pop. They're 27 quid from WGC, so I can get 3 shipped over with shipping, avoid customs charges for less than the cost of 2. And it makes
that's the
no
thing,
sense.
isn't it? Yeah, that's the thing when you can look at it as an individual and go, even if I'm doing this without obviously any business related perks that you can get from obviously operating as a business, and I can still do this cheaper than you, why
There's
are
a
you
problem.
doing this?
Yeah. There's some retailers are really known for inflating the price, but yet they're still in business. It really makes me wonder, like, how are you still around?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I mean, I don't know obviously the logistics and the supply chains of who buys from who, but there's a lot of UK retailers that will get their stock from one very big wholesaler within the country. And obviously, if you have a trade account, which I do to have a look at the prices on there, you can kind of see, okay, I can see why people charge this, and you can maybe have a bit more of a guess on people's margins. But again, this is another reason that it is difficult to operate, I think, a brick and mortar business, not just in airsoft, but I mean, you look at the high street in general these days, and it's all suffering for the most part just because of extortionate prices. And airsoft is no different. Airsoft doesn't benefit anywhere near as much from having a brick and mortar store as other businesses do, because people see things online, they see photos, they see videos, it's
Mhm.
very impulsive. People order something, it comes to the house the next day, and that's it. You know, there's
It's there. Or if it doesn't turn up,
there
you're
are people.
complaining on Facebook the next day that it hasn't turned up 24
Business is
hours.
stuck. Yeah, your
Why haven't
business
you?
is stuck.
It?
So I ordered it at 10 p.m. and it's not here. What's going on? Um,
What's that retailer? You need to ask them at 2 a.m. for GHK feed lips,
Mil
Elliot.
spec,
Pop them a
mil
message. They'll
spec
love that.
solutions. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's another reason that I will never open a brick and mortar store, just because the amount of stuff, like I spend a lot of time just perusing different places on the internet for either just learning or looking at stuff, maybe buying, maybe just watching and getting an idea of value and stuff. If I was to actually try and take that into a brick and mortar store and not just stock 80% of it as Cyber guns on the wall, and a tiny little section of rare stuff, I just wouldn't be able to do it. And it's not cost effective for me to do it. So I'm never going to do it. For me, I'm happy to just show stuff, do everything online, store whatever I need to, and then when people buy or do whatever, oh yeah, there you go, they're shipped. Or go to events. That's another thing that I do like doing, is going to events, because that is really, really easy and it's really popular. Airsoft lends itself really well to events. Um, no matter what it is you're selling, whether it's obviously guns, whether it's obviously all the Kydex stuff that Tate does. Nice chap. Met him at National Airsoft Festival. All those different stalls going there. That's a good experience. And if you go to any kind of half size or big event, you will find a lot of things there, and it is great. But to go out of your way to go an hour or 2 hours to a brick and mortar store in airsoft is, I don't think it's what too many people do, because I don't do it myself. I do see people post in Facebook groups of, oh, I went in here for gas and they came out with this £300 gun. And yeah, they're the exception, not the rule. And I wouldn't build a store on the hope that these guys just come to it and keep it operating.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't
we all
blame
get the
people
itch
for
when we go into an airsoft shop and it's like, I could do it. But how many times do we do it?
So you were saying, Ben, that you wouldn't have a bricks and mortar shop. Not really viable. All the sales are done online. I would agree. I think having a bricks and mortar shop's nice though, to walk in and physically feel something.
It is. I I would love a bricks and mortar shop if someone offered me that opportunity, and financially outside of the world of airsoft, I could make it work with my own personal life, because that's very important to me. That's another reason that I wouldn't, anywhere in the immediate future anyway, switch to kind of doing airsoft thing full time, just because it wouldn't afford me the kind of stuff outside of airsoft that I'd actually want to do. So, everyone's got their own things and wants and families and stuff like that that they want to sort
Yeah,
out, and you've got to put that first. So for me, that's not on the priority list. But if someone offered me the opportunity, right, then you can do this, there's a store, it's this, it's that, I'd absolutely love it. Although I have half a feeling that it would kind of turn into half like a store, half like a museum, and people just coming in, googling, picking stuff up and going, wow, look at this, wow, look at that, and then just leaving or dropping
and
it
then
and just,
breaks it. Yeah,
Break
yeah.
it.
Leaves, doesn't buy it. Yes,
yeah,
thank you for breaking this irreplaceable piece of thing. Thank you. Yes, yeah.
yeah. So
You break, you buy rule coming in straight away.
Yes, yes. If you put
yeah,
Winky on, you
so
buy also.
yeah, I'd like it, but it wouldn't be viable in that sense. I've thought about it. It's one of those, if you won the lottery and you were still obviously sad enough to continue playing airsoft or be involved with it in any way, shape, or form, what would you do? And besides, R&D of some old stuff and make some stuff that's not out yet because no airsoft manufacturer seems to have the balls to just make something that is completely different. I don't understand why. There's so many platforms that people used to make in the 80s and 90s where literally the internet wasn't around yet. No one knew what airsoft was or gave a shit, and they just made something like, yes, let's make that really obscure survival pistol that pilots had if they were crashing in foreign territory. All right, cool.
Yes. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Was that back
Whereas
in
now
back in catalog days?
well, yeah, catalogs. Guns Digest was a big one. I've got a couple of the early Guns Digest things. I have those just to help me identify what the hell is this bag of bits? What on earth
This thing.
is going on? What was the price of this flimsy bag of shit when it was new, or vice versa? How much did someone pay back in the day, like 200,000 yen in the 1990s for a gun which shoots like 40 meters and no one else uses? All right.
Yeah,
So
fair.
yeah, it's kind of
It's
like
good
an
good
archive,
bedtime
but
material.
well, yeah, it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff in there that if you're not going to spend a stupid amount of time on different, sales sites and stuff like that, like I do, if you literally just pick one of those up, there's a 99% chance you will learn of something that is a completely new model and product that you didn't know existed before. And it's just the way it's not just a variant, but something completely different. I mean, I see it on loads of forums and the Facebook groups. Has anyone made this? Has anyone made that? And some of them are quite obscure. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't expect people to know, but other ones, it's like, yeah, they're still being made now. It's just no one can be asked importing them. They exist fine. But anything outside of the mainstream doesn't seem to come here too much, which
I feel like
yeah
you're just teasing me
irritates me.
there a little bit as well, Ben.
What's this? Why?
Because you know what I want. I only know of one company that make it, and I'm never going to be able to get my hands on it. It
We'll see.
upsets me. I really hope now that you've said that, I want to go like trawling through old magazines just to see if I can find any other company that's attempted it or has made anything close. I can just go, if I 3D print
Talking
this.
about the toy that our friends NPO manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, we can get those. The Royal We. Excuse me. That's
Now I'm intrigued.
there's an awkward. I get asked quite a lot actually about things in that kind of category where yes yes they were made, yes you know of them, yes they were manufactured recently, but because of the logistics of it, because obviously the nuances with MPO is, they weren't
Based company who is
brought
now.
over. Yeah, and they weren't brought over here in ridiculous numbers. It's kind of like the I don't know if you've heard of this. There's a company called, or I don't know if it still exists, Alumnix, which made like a nail gun, not the kit for the AAP. It was just a converted nail gun that
I
was
think
its
I've
own
seen one of
thing.
these.
Yeah, and they were cheap as chips at one point as well. I was choosing between buying that or buying the FCW Striker 12 before APS made theirs. And I was like, oh, get a striker. Never ended up ordering the striker. I went to look at the nail gun. It was out of stock. I'm like, oh, cool. And I've not seen it since. So I've been asked for a couple of those, and it's like, oh, blah, 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 too rare. And it's like, mate, no. Like some of the stuff that I've had, I've no idea how hard it is for the stuff that I've ended up getting to get. But it's in this really awkward zone where I just don't necessarily know where to look as much. And you kind of just got to place your look. Like I found some stuff that again kind of fits that category on French airsoft forums, on German ones. It's, most of the stuff that I get hold of is either modern Japanese manufacturers or now defunct ones that are kind of in the middle where they were made a few years ago, but they were kind of sent here, they were kind of sent there. They're really awkward because you kind of just have to browse everywhere and then wait, or just put a want to sell post everywhere. Which again, you don't know that the one person that has this gun, you've posted on 8 of the forums that they're not on. The ninth one that they're on, they're looking around and you've not found it. And that it's a
Mm.
pain in the ass. I've done that before countless times where I've seen people ask, have you got this? Have you got that? And because I've seen so many, it's like, yeah, I could send you a link to this in 5 minutes. I can't be asked. I've got better things to do. But yeah, just go and look somewhere else.
Yes. No, not telling you. All mine. Yes.
Well, it is hard to find certain things. I mean, there was a company called Airsoft Imports. Don't know if you guys have heard of those or anyone else has. I'm sure there'll be a few people watching this that have heard of Airsoft Imports and some of the shenanigans and business practices and this, that, and the other. Again, that kind of encouraged me actually to start doing what I'm doing because um, when was it? In the year of our Lord 2020, I went to Glasgow on a little pilgrimage to go basically liquidate a collection that someone said, "Oh, I've got my brother-in-law's airsoft stuff," and he's just getting rid of it all. And he sent like this Excel list over of some of the stuff and some of the prices that he wanted. And some of the prices, like, yeah, I'm going to go to Glasgow for this, holy shit.
Yeah.
And some of the things on there. So I went and I had a look, and yeah, some of the stuff he had there was amazing. There was one thing there, and I will never get as good an airsoft deal as this today. And not really told too many people how much I paid for this, but everyone's had it. I mean, there's a few people have told me of some good deals, but he just listed on the sheet like a Barrett 50 cal, and I'm thinking, oh, he's got a Snow Wolf or he's got a Galaxy or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But then it didn't really make sense to me that he would have this when the rest of the stuff is NGC, Asahi, Craft Apple Works, this. Like, dude, you would buy a Snow Wolf, maybe you'd buy like a Hurricane thing with his stemmer, or this big massive thing that you might be able to see on, where is it? Nope, you can't see
Show
it.
me a big, massive
That's
thing,
cool.
Ben. Get your big,
Yes,
massive thing out. Come on, get it out.
yes, I'm going to show you my thing. Why can't you see it? Nope, you can't see it. Very cool, very cool. Anyway, I'm just going to pick it up. I can't bother.
This would have been easier to begin with, Ben.
It would have been much
Oh,
easier to
shit.
pick up your thing.
There we
That
go.
was a big thing.
One of these things.
Nice
Yeah, I mean,
thing.
one of those. I thought, okay, maybe you've got one of those. And I had a look at it, and he put the price on the list as like £150 or something like that. And he went, oh, it's heavy. And straight away, that made me think, well, the Galaxy and Snowwolf ones aren't. They're just light and shit. And I picked it up, and it was straight away, I could tell it was all made out of steel. And I was like, holy shit, okay, this isn't a cheap one anymore. And I looked on the stock, and it had a gas inlet valve. But he said he said, oh, before I came, I've just got my friend to have a look and give me an idea. And his friend couldn't identify it, and he just listed it as AG, but it had a gas inlet valve on the stock. And I was like, okay, I think I know what this is. And then looked in the box, and there was the magazine in there, and there was also a speed loader, which was a two-piece thing in the shape of a 50 cal bullet. It was literally just in a box full of shit. And I had someone offer like £50 to me just to buy the speed loader because their gun that they had didn't have it. And I checked with Wolf George and to say, look, I'm pretty sure this is this. What do you think? And he confirmed it. And I said to the guy, "Oh, would you take 140?" And he went, "Yeah, all right." It was a
Go on then.
VFC M82 A1, which is a gas 8mm airsoft gun. They made 100 of them in 2005, and they retailed for about $1,700.
You got it for
And
140, and he's wiggled him down on price.
yeah,
Jeez.
yeah.
And how much
So
does it sell for now?
Well, put it this way, I sold it to Airsoft Imports for 600 quid, and I think he sold it on for 800 or 900 quid. And the only one I've seen since then, someone's asking, I've literally seen like one in for sale since then. I think he was asking about 1,200 quid for it.
Spinny.
So I ain't getting one of those again. But that was cool. He also had like again a NATO Works SCP-90, which they made again something like 60 of these. I sent the link to someone else, and they went up to Scotland and paid about 1,500 quid for it, and just some other crazy, crazy crap. But yeah, I came back from Glasgow and was like, okay, some of this I'll keep, some of this I'll sell. And Airsoft Imports would buy things off me, and he'd have good connections at the time to sell guns to other people. So went there, sold him loads of stuff, sent me a bank transfer or something. 2 or 3 days later, it bounced. after I left. So you could probably imagine I was quite pissed and worried at that. I'm like, got all my stuff. I've not got any money.
Anything? No.
Yeah. So eventually that payment was sorted, but it turns out it wasn't the first time. There's some other business practices, and anyway, he stopped trading in the end. But when I spoke to him when he was there, he said, "Oh, there's a guy." He didn't tell me where. Oh, there's a yeah. You have to issue MP44. Yeah, I might know a guy. Anyway, spoke to someone else. Oh yeah, I sold that to him. Here's his number, and I just undercut. He was gonna, as I've been put, was gonna sell it to me for about 300 quid more than the other guy was. So just undercut him. So I got it direct, saved myself some
Yeah.
money. Happy days.
Thanks, mate. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's again that kind of encouraged me to go. There's got to be people out there that get this weird and wonderful shit. I just don't know who they are, but I'm not going to treat people like this guy is because you know I don't know. It just seems weird, especially when you meet someone face to face. I mean, that's one thing. That's what I do like about going to stalls and stands and stuff is you can be completely honest with people and go, look, this is what it is. A spade's a spade. I'm not gonna, you see it on some airsoft sites and it doesn't matter if it's a new gun or not. And they put a description there and you read it, and every single gun they sell is the best gun in the world. It's
Of
this,
course,
it's
they're not
that.
going to sell you the shittest gun, are they? No, you're not going to buy
Yeah.
it.
And there's just a little bit, I mean, I work in sales anyway, or have done for the last few years. So I know obviously what it's like to sell equipment much more expensive than airsoft stuff to end users and things like that. And I don't like basically blagging people and going, it's the best thing, it's the best this, it's the best that. And then, people send you the money and you just piss off and just laughing all the way to the bank and that's it. I don't like doing that. If something's crap, for me, it's easier to say, if you say, look, yeah, this is shit, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that. Yeah, I don't care. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
if they
Happy
want that
customer.
oddity because
Whatever.
it's an oddity, yeah. But at
what
least
I
you know
want.
it's a bag of shit. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. And that's one thing that I wanted to put on the website when that's eventually launched is without sort of writing essays of all sorts of stuff, just give it just a couple of stars on a few different things, just so that if people are thinking, wow, this is cool, I'm going to skirmish this, I'm just going to manage your expectations. You can skirmish
Yes.
up to the distance of 10 meters, then you can. So as long
Yes,
as
but
you
you
know
can
that,
skirmish with it. Yeah.
you can skirmish it. Yeah, you need to be brave, but I don't see a problem with that. Obviously, you wouldn't do that with modern guns anyway, just because you just smack a new hot rubber in and it solves half of those issues and this, that, and the other anyway. But yeah, if people are looking to buy old and weird shit and they do skirmish them like I do a lot of the time, it's nice to know a bit about stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
it's
always
not it's
being
not cool being
anxious
left.
about buying gas stuff secondhand. Because Elliot, you sent me something this today, or the recording of today, and I was like, show me the pins. Because if that guy's been fucking around with it, those pins are going to be marked. There's no way you're getting them out without marking them. It's going to happen. And
I'm still
unless I'm buying
undecided on the buy as well.
Look, dude, if you like the weird shaped gun, get the weird shaped gun. It's not great. I wouldn't buy another one. I'd save my money, buy someone else. But that is me. It's your hobby. You enjoy it. We're not telling Raresoft to not buy his cool shit because it doesn't work, because it probably doesn't. But it's cool, and at least he knows it doesn't work. Oh, maybe it does work, but too much power. Yeah, gas ones are
Well,
weird to buy.
yeah, there's a load of nuances. I mean, some are much more skirmishable than others. I like the Maruzen M1100 gas blowback shotguns, and I I read, TM are the pinnacle of airsoft. They designed this, they designed the gas blowback shotgun, blah blah blah. They made the first gas blowback pistol. No, they didn't. They made the AG and modern hop units. Stop giving them credit for everything. Like they're good and the QC is fantastic, but you've got to give some credit to other people. And yeah, there's the Maruzens are nowhere near as good in performance as a Saiga. It's just not.
Just
TM
not the
factory hops are
same
just
thing.
better, but it's not the same thing. No, can you put a TM Saiga inside a Spaz 12 and make a shell ejecting gas blowback shotgun? No, you can't. Can you do it with a Maruzen? Yes, you can.
There you go. Elliot, have you ever
Yeah.
had the pleasure of holding an old TM FAMAS?
No.
They are
I think the
a
oldest thing I've held was
beautiful,
like
beautiful thing to hold. They creak throughout, and it's not a subtle creak. It's a and it's the
Yeah.
no matter what you do, you squeeze it too hard. Oh, they are they're fucking great though. You know, for the time they are. And battery storage, you can fit shitloads in there. Not today. We're trying to shove stick down a buffer tube. Now you can get anything you want in that. You have those big fuck off Nemis in there. That'd run you all day. Now, tiny little 7.4 doesn't last you 2 games. You're like, oh, battery, like, yeah, and fuck. But this is a whole different era that Elliot hasn't ever experienced. I don't think is this nostalgic or older way.
Anytime I've seen anything old has been when Ben's brought it out, and like I say, a lot of it's been HBA stuff that he's kind of been. I'd like to say the majority of the time. Thinking back to Skirmish, especially, I think he spent a good half of the day just trying to get a few of them low enough on the FPS scales, and just. I don't even. Did you even get a game in the end?
Yeah, not using any of that stuff. It wasn't helped by the fact that my HPA tank, when we did go to that site, froze and
Yes, I
then
remember
started
seeing that.
leaking. I
Yes, it
was
was
not
literally
happy.
covered in frost.
Okay, I
Yes.
didn't see this.
Yeah, it was
Yes.
covered in frost and then started leaking. I was like, yeah, guess not.
Perfect.
Oh,
So
God.
Why again?
just a quick advert break, guys. Elliot, have we
Yeah.
got a code that we are supposed to be sharing out because we are professionals at this? So if Elliot can put the code below. So we've got that code of Courtney M5. It's capital C, capital M, M5. And that's for what, Elliot? 5% off where?
Warhead. Anything
Warhead
on
Engine?
their website.
Anything on their website. So that's BBs, motors, patches. I'm assuming they do. Anything else? What else do they sell?
I think that's it.
That's it. So BBs and motors, nothing else, nothing more. And then I think Ben, you've got something you want to shamelessly plug while we're here.
I have a raffle that's currently going on at the minute, which is not quite as easy to roll off the tongue as a Courtney M5 discount code. So yeah,
Go on, give it a go. Go on,
there we go.
So
There we go. So yeah, I'm not going to read out all those funky digits. I'm sure everyone can just copy those right off the screen into their web browser without a single problem whatsoever. But if you
well,
can't
if we
do
didn't
that
want
for
to,
whatever reason, if that's not, if it's too difficult for you, just go on the Facebook page. And if you're not following it already, why not? That's a problem. Get following it. It might well be sold out very soon because 90% of the tickets are gone already. And if you're wondering what the hell I'm waffling on about, it's a very, very funky Tanaka single action army, custom finish, case hardened custom version, the best airsoft revolver manufacturer, and one of the best products. So have a look at that.
how
You
much
can win it for
they
less than
retail
a
for?
sausage roll.
How much they normally cost if I had to buy one brand new?
It depends on the model. Case hardened ones anywhere between like 270 and 320. Depends. The barrel size is one thing that impacts the cost. I say a lot of the few places that tend to list Tanaka revolvers on their websites in the UK, not that they're typically in stock anymore, are just the plain black, sometimes heavyweight versions. It's kind of like Western Arms pistols. There's so many versions of pretty much the same thing. Oh, it's a first gen. It's a second gen. The barrel's this big. It's this big. It's this finish. It's blah blah blah. Loads of them. So yeah, look on the page. I've got dozens that I've had in the past. The case hardened custom finish is probably my favorite. I like it more than like the nickel ones. So take a look at that, and you can win that for less than the price of a Greg sausage roll. How's
That is
that?
a bargain. That is
That is
not
a
a
bargain.
bad, not a bad deal. Not a bad deal. I will trade you a sausage roll for a pistol.
You drive a hard
Okay.
bargain.
I'll tell you what. I'll give you a lovely engraved foul, and for a nice pistol.
I thought you were going to say for the sausage roll.
No, it's sold. Yes. I'll trade my foul for a sausage roll, please. But is there any guns that you do want but you just can't get hold of yourself? We say guns, we say toys, but is that unicorn? Is something eluding you still that's keeping you going, or do you just love the hobby for the love of it?
There is one gun which I do want, not to use, but just for collect. Well, technically to collect that I know I'll never get. One of them is a Sheriff Highlander Magnum, and it's kind of like a I'm sure part of it was based on the real gun. It was some really weird prototype that's definitely not for what it looks for, but it kind of looks like a funky WA 2000. There's about 50 of them made. A lot of them are in bits. If they're still around, never going to find one. And the other one is Asahi made a G11 in like a ridiculously low number of pieces. There's literally almost nothing online about them other than one post in a magazine. Funnily enough, we're talking back in old magazines again. There was a post in the magazine about them with a feature on it. And other than that, I can't really find anything else online. But I do know someone that owns one. It's not a modern 3D printed this, that, and the other. It is, like the old kind of resin
Hmm.
casting thing that they used to make back then, like all the plastic kind of stuff. So those exist as well.
But
I
just
could get
far and
those
few
two.
between.
Yeah, well, I've only ever seen his, and he said he saw that's the only one he's seen in and he bought that in 2001. So there you go. Not seen any
Nice. Can't
on the
put a price
market.
on it.
Yeah, basically, he would never sell that. So yeah, those two. But I know I'm never going to get any of those really. In terms of stuff that I want to use, I'm still looking for a Shui MP44 since I sold my last one. Did have the opportunity to buy one last month. Didn't because timing and airsoft purchases just don't seem to align. I also
No.
wanted like a really nice metal kit tiki because I don't own airsoft pistols. Chemical airsoft is literally around the corner from me pretty much. Um, and I'd go a lot more if I just had something that's nice and easy to go and skirmish with. So I now have like a belt that I will need more like retention stuff for high cap mags, but I wanted a tiki or some kind of decent pistol that isn't just ABS. Yes, I know plastic slides and efficiency and this, that, and the other, but I'm not about that. It's fashion. It's a tiki. It looks cool. I don't
Hmm.
give a shit about gas efficiency. I just wanted something that looks cool as shit.
That's what
So
airsoft is.
bomber,
Look
Are you
cool.
saying metal guns aren't the best? Is that what you're saying? That all metal is not a selling point?
full.
No,
I'm
all
full
metal,
metal.
full blowback,
Full metal.
full
Yeah,
metal.
Jesus.
Yes,
I want
I
my
love
some of the things
metal.
that people ask for. If you literally go, sorry again, I'm pretty sure this week of someone posting in UCAC 2 of what guns would you want, and someone comments something like, "Oh, I want a full metal G36C." Just
So
just
what's wrong with that statement right there?
slow
Elliot,
down
Elliot,
there, pal.
what's wrong with that statement right there, Elliot? Come on.
I'm pretty sure they're only polymer, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. So this guy's asking
Sparks.
for. Yeah.
Smart.
He's asking for interesting things. Um.
Give me
So yeah,
unobtainium. No problem.
literally an obtainium and the shit that just no one would make. So I wanted a tiki kit. Um, the Western Arms ones I can buy a stock Western Arms ones, but they're about 300 quid, and they've got all the funky Western Arms aftermarket or lack thereof, especially in the UK, to deal with. So the fact that I was looking on Boom Arms and they sold out, like they had a listing from like 2022 of kits that were just sold out, and messaged a, excuse me, I messaged a few people online that I found that were trying to sell one. No one ever got back to me. I thought that's very, very cool. And then this week, someone sent me a link of, hey, these are in stock. You should kind of have a look because they sell out quick. And I thought, yeah, whatever. I'll wait till the end of the month and see if I've got money to throw at them. And I checked today, and there was 3 left in stock. Oh
Ooh,
shit! So I bought one, and then 40 minutes later, they're all sold out. So there we go.
lucky. You
Start the
got it.
train.
Is there anything
So
modern-wise that you like the look of, or you want to sort of keep your eye on? Anything that's sort of cool? Because we see a lot. You see all your old stuff, your old kit, and how technology was then. Obviously, now we can pretty much do whatever we want to a degree. Is there anything you go, yeah, that's cool. I'd fuck with that, or is it all just kind of much of a muchness, and you don't really like them unless they have this odd quirk or obscurity?
most of the stuff that I like that's modern is all gas blowback stuff. I'm not a huge fan of AGs. Obviously, I know the limitations of gas blowbacks compared to it. I'm not going to make an argument against that. As you can probably tell, other than the Car 98, none of the kit is there to be competitive. I don't really give a shit. That Car
Hmm.
98 is very competitive, but a separate point. Airsoft sniping is irrelevant how good you are if you can't aim for shit. If you have like the worst, stability and you're shaking around like you've got some kind of, Parkinson's or something like that, and you've got one eye, you're not going to be able to hit anything. It doesn't matter if you spent 1,200 quid on an SRS, it's irrelevant. So
They just need
that's
to change the hot rubber. Change
This
the
is
hot
why
rubber. Buy a vortex optic. You'll be fine. That's where you're going wrong, my friends. It's obviously
must be. Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
mean,
definitely nothing to do with skill. No.
no. So yeah, I mean, modern stuff I do like. Funnily enough, VFC files. I would like one of those. Particularly, I don't know if they're still planning to release it. I'm pretty sure I read when they first launched it, they were going to make the OSW variant at some
Mm-hmm.
point. I don't know if that's
Yes.
still going to happen.
Well, same with their PPSH. I'm holding on for that. I want to get my hands on that
Yes.
because it comes with the drum. And it's like, that's great.
Yeah.
A reasonably sized mag capacity in a gas blowback. It's probably going to be terrible on efficiency and cool down like no tomorrow. It's just a big steel round tub. Of course, it's going to get cold. But yeah, if they do some wizardry, but they've done pretty well with the foul. I mean, you can almost turn it into an OSW to a degree. Obviously, there's that MP5 front end that someone's done, and they chopped theirs up and abused it. So I guess you could do. But yeah, I think they've come a long way, VFC, from what they used to be to where they are now.
Yeah.
They're not quite TM performance, but then TM isn't really TM performance anymore because you change all the shit. And it's no longer TM performance. It's what I just shove in it and nothing's left of TM. I mean, do you think that, the FNC range, what do you think of that sort of thing? Have you had a held and a fondle on them?
Not the VFC one. I've got two Asahi FNCs, obviously. So,
Obviously.
yeah. Yeah, again, some of the parts of those are metal, some are like the old plastic, like resin kind of stuff. So yeah, I think an FNC is just cool. I do like those kind of retro rifles. I mean, I've got God knows how many Cal 15 type stuff just lying around. I've got about seven more in a box downstairs. So I do like those kind of things. I'd like a VFC XM177E2 at one point, maybe. But again, that's kind of behind on the priority list. Basically, I just wanted something that one of each thing that's kind of just does a job. Because as much as
Mm-hmm.
I like my stuff like this, I am getting to the point where because I'm not having as much time, when
Mm-hmm.
I do play airsoft and when I'm getting ready the night before, I just want to be able to throw stuff in a bag and just go, this is going to work. I don't need to care. The Cal
Mm-hmm.
98 I can do that with. And the Western Arms P38 that I've got with it, which again, you'll be pleased to know, Elliot, is HPA tapped. Of course it is. Yeah, those you can just work with, but again, they're very limited to what size you can use it at. You have to go outdoors. I would never wear any of that stuff without the German kit because it just looks weird if I'm walking around with a Hawaiian shirt and a Car 98 and a Walther P38. But
No, you
Yeah, I
just
think
need
you
some
should
whatever.
pits.
I think you should
Just
do
get
it.
some pits on. That's what you need, the pits, and you just survive. The
I
vibe is
can't
always right.
I can't do that. But yeah, so there's that. I mean, there's a couple of guns. FCW Striker 12. I do want the shotgun. It's 80 shotgun. It's cool. What
Mm-hmm.
else do I need to say? I know the APS shell system's like finicky, but I really don't care. It's less finicky than everything else I own, so it's a win. Um,
So it's kind of reliable, but finicky.
maybe some kind of different MP5, like I don't know, VFC MP5. What else? Obviously, I'm getting that TM high capper. Yeah, maybe a FAL as well. I just want a full fat battle rifle. There just is
Mm-hmm.
something about them that just makes me want to get one. Whether it's that or a G3 or
Just makes you dick
even
hard. Yeah.
even
Yeah.
the SVD, a WE SVD, the steel version, not
Mm-hmm.
aluminium, because you don't
Mm-hmm.
half-arse it or the Bear Paw SVU, which is still a WE SVD, just a different one. But yeah, something like that. So kind of one from each of those categories. But then when you add up how much that costs and the mags, because the gas, and then you do actually have to maintain them. You can't just throw them in the box and abuse them forever. It just becomes
what? So you have to maintain gas rifles? No, that's bollocks. No, you just run them,
you
get dirt
wouldn't
on them.
believe it.
No,
Yeah, you can just spray
lies.
WD-40 on all your O-rings and you'll be.
I've heard
Keep
sand
them
is
on
really
machine.
good for like getting some really good hop as well. Just throw a load of sand in there.
Grit and
Yes.
sand, yes.
Good.
These are tech tips, definitely not endorsed by Nemesis Tactical at any point. Do not put WD-40
I'm
in
not
your
sponsored by Sand.
gun. Sponsored by sand. Sponsored
Yeah,
by
Anakin
rocks.
Skywalker's going to kill me if I'm sponsored by Sand.
Oh,
Right,
Butlin's,
so we looked at.
Butlin's the new sponsor.
I wonder who we can get sponsored by. We'll have to get a sponsor one day. Someone will sponsor us, Elliot. Maybe.
Yeah,
We've already asked KWA. They said no. TM definitely won't. What's your thoughts on a TM MWS? Is it hands down the best gas M4 there is, or are there better?
I would say it is. Again, this is kind of talking from secondhand experience because there's been very few times where I've shot one myself, but there is that much content out there where people do reliability reviews in the cold, performance reviews, out the box range. I know people whinge about obviously the trigger systems. Is probably the biggest thing that people whinge about, and I was going to say the different types of platforms it lends itself to because there's not as many platforms that are made from TM using the MWS as there are if you add up other manufacturers that obviously if we're talking have worse performance, you might think, oh, I like this shape gun, but I don't want it to not be an MWS. But it's a testament to the MWS platform that if you have a look on a lot of the Asian retailer websites, the amount of like CNC receiver kits for them that is out there, that some of these are pretty much four figures and they sell is absolutely vast. So the MWS platform, yeah, if I was to build a gas bullet rifle that was, from scratch, whether it's to be competitive, certainly, or if you gave me a massive budget and go, right, you can build, any Car 15 type rifle, you can do this, you can do that. That is the native platform that I would use without a shadow of a doubt. It just is. I just wouldn't change anything else. I know the VFCAK starting to land, and that was supposed to be obviously the next big competitor compared to obviously TM have now got a Gaspo KK, and the big play that was GHK before it all went to shit. We'll, we'll see if VFC kind of hold the torch to pre-quality control issue GHK because that was actually the first gas blowback rifle I had. I think I paid £220 for a AK-74 MN with two green gas mags and a CO2 mag.
That
was the first.
steal. That's a bargain.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. This was about 2018, 2019, but it was still quite cheap then. I didn't. I told myself, right, okay, don't use the CO2 mag for obvious reasons. It didn't have any other modifications in the gun, and it was just a completely stock gun. Right, don't use the CO2 mag. Don't do this. Don't do this. And I used it at the end of the game and blew up my nozzle, and that was
Marvelous.
it. Yeah, just
and then couldn't replace it because it didn't exist for a while or unobtainium parts.
I just sold it.
Just sort of get rid of it. It's blown up. It's fine.
I bought it for one game. At that point, I used to go airsoft with my friends much more regularly, and we'd do like this birthday thing because two of them had a birthday that was one day after each other. That weekend closest to it, we'd play airsoft, and we'd always do like some stupid theme for one of them. Like it was in the middle of August, and the first time we did it, everyone dressed up in like an animal onesie. And how I didn't get heat stroke, I didn't know. But if you've got like a 6'5" sloth popping out of a bush at Anzio, I'm not exactly inconspicuous. And it didn't offer any extra protection, so I got shot to shit. And then this time we were all just dressed as like, you know, uh, Eastern European, like Slavic kind of, bright
Hmm.
blue, full Adidas tracksuits and, like office style trainers and God knows whatever else and just AKs and again, shot to shit. And the year after, we all did like a Miami Vice kind of thing in the pissing rain with just a Hawaiian shirt on. And I had a Spring Spaz 12 with a stock and some glasses and that was that. So that's the reason I
Vibe.
bought the AK to go with that kit. Used it
Hmm.
once, blew up a nozzle, sold it.
That's it. That's the end of it.
Stonks.
Yeah. We're trying
It's
to
my
get
own
Elliot
fault. I
here
didn't mean to.
into the gas world. And it's something we go back and forth. Now, I'm no expert by any fucking stretch of imagination,
But
but I
you're
like
the
to
most
think what
knowledgeable in our group, I would say.
it's what I like. I think what I think I know is probably shit compared to what other people know. I can tell you about my first-hand experiences and issues I found with the guns, having chewed through quite many a rifle.
Just
Yeah, and
one month.
just it's about one a month. There was a phase we were cycling them in and out in about two in a month. It's horrific. Um, yeah, MWS platform, Elliot. That's what I lean towards.
I
I've
think
not
it's
not
ridiculous.
touched. I mean, TM do their AK range, and their AKM looks the business. The AKX not I'm a massive fan of. That sort of modern, sleek AK doesn't vibe with me. Have you had much experience with either at all, Raresoft, Ben? No, not as hands on either. So do what the internet says, Elliot, and just
Buy an
buy a TM.
MWS.
Buy an MWS, rip all the internals out so it's no longer MWS, and then you'll be good to go.
See, I feel like there's going to be the AK side. The AK side of what's going on for the MWS. Everybody's making parts for the MWS, but eventually, hopefully, people will start making things for the either TMAK or the GHK AK. I want to try the GHK one before I buy it, but
Do you mean the VFC one?
VFC one, sorry. Yes.
Yes. I mean, 'cause my understanding was GHKs, they used to be top tier, and then they made some bad QCs, didn't make any for ages, then they rectified them, and then they brought out the next batch, which are bad. And that's as much as I understand with GHK and their AK range. I've touched their G5s, it was okay, it was fine, it shot fucking spicy. As I think most of them still do, maybe not so much anymore. That's pretty much DMR power at full auto. It was nasty. Is that true, Ben, or is that the short and sweet of it, or is there a bit more to it with GHK? What's the story?
The GHK was, I mean, it had its issues obviously after the QC stuff, where the front trunnions misaligned, the aftermarket for them, even before QC. You look online, there's a lot of guides and people saying this. I mean, people call them like side grades or whatever the word for it is, but there's a lot of upgrades for them that don't actually offer any improved performance and just cause like some compatibility issues. I know I had one with a maple leaf hop unit in and a maple leaf barrel and a good booking in it, and it could just never seem to actually perform as it should. And there's a few people saying very similar things. So it's one of those with the GHK. That's the reason why people go for like TMMWS platforms, is because you open that box and you know what's going to be in there. If
Mm.
you buy used GHK, because obvious reasons that you want to try and win that lottery and buy one that's used, and people have already done all the list of upgrades, and then you get it and you shoot it and it shoots like shit. It's kind of a bit of a pain in the ass to go, but it shouldn't. It's got these upgrades. Why is it doing this?
Mm.
And it's not the first time that I've had that happen or seen it happen to other people. So we'll have to see what VFC's AK is like. But yeah, GHKs can be good. I've seen them perform very well. I've seen what people do with them. Obviously, there is a lot of aftermarket and parts compatibility, but just about every part of it. I mean, even the Grozers, obviously, they're all just the same compatibility. So you can put all the WNS internals in, do this, do that. It's just the same thing. So I want to like GHK, but kind of shouldn't.
Mm.
So yeah, VFC.
Okay.
VFC, we might have to see. VFC's gas blowback offerings are improving. They just are. So
Hmm.
yeah, we'll wait and see. I think I saw a post on Facebook the other day that Hephaestus are working on aftermarket parts already. They've already got a VFC AK in house, so it'll be a couple of months before we start seeing upgrades from them, which, yeah, I think it'll be the beginning of maybe a half decent new platform, another one to rival GHK.
Nice, maybe. I mean, I could talk for VSC Mags. They're pretty well gas efficient. I mean, I can get 2.5, 3 fills out of that thing, and I've had one leak out of 9 in almost the year I've had that rifle, which is not bad. Not bad at all, and that's with minimum maintenance of me not stripping them apart because I'm not autistic like that as much as I used to be. But still like to. Well, I don't think there's anything else for this part. Ben, is there anything you'd like to cover? Any questions for us? Anything you want to know? Yeah, it's not nice when it's the other way around, is it?
I mean, I can answer the question on the hat. That's an obvious question that you're going to ask. It says it's in reserve and it's at the workshop waiting for you.
So we got you a hat. So fuck you, Court. We got him a hat. Screw you.
Great guys, thank you.
You're welcome.
One question. And I do have to disappear actually in just a second, but I will leave you with this question. Out of all the old stuff that you're aware of, and I mean old as in anything that's older than 15 years that you've seen, if you could own any one of them, which one would it be?
Calico. I want my hands on a Calico. I have all of them. It seems to work. It just looks funky.
I haven't shot it yet, but it feels.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. No, it just has that cheapness, but quality cheapness. That's kind of. I'm at this point now. It's not all performance. It's kind of a bit of fun. That's why you buy the things you buy, just to keep yourself happy, even if you know you're going to be disappointed with it. But you've got that expectation. You've set your expectation to go. This is going to be terrible. When you go, actually, it's not that bad. Yeah, you can rock with it because no one cares. No one cares about your KD, do they? No. There was this last week. No one cares about what kit you're wearing, and if you're wearing cry this or cry that. So anyway, we'll wrap that one up there. Unless Elliot, there's anything from you?
No, nothing from me.
No. I was supposed to ask, where's the Calicussy, where's the woods, and show Winky? Those are the 3 questions I was supposed to sneak in. So but we didn't get time. So never mind. Right, well, thank you very much, Ben, for having us on. And if you haven't already, just give us a like, comment, and subscribe. If you've got any questions for Ben, obviously pop it straight to Raresoft or pop in the comments, and we'll make sure it gets filtered down to him. We can check him out on Facebook. You got Instagram at all?
I have, but I don't use it. Look for the same handle again, Raresoft Armories, and you'll see photos of some funky stuff.
Okay. So Raresoft Armories, only on Facebook, really, and find that raffle, get yourself in, because 90% of the tickets are gone. So £1 a pop, not bad, is it? Not bad at all. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, guys. Less than a sausage roll. Not a vegan one. No, let's get it in.
Absolutely not.
No. Right, chaps, we'll cut it there. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.
Okay, guys.